Hello, good morning. I want to start saying my appreciation. The Ask and It Is Given was my first book I got when I was 14 years old, and it really helped me a lot in the course of my life. So I'm very, very happy and thankful for that. Now the drama. So I'm an actress and performer, and every time I'm acting, like last October, we've been exposed in our work. And I didn't expect that, but when it was my scene, everybody was clapping and very happy and excited, and I was just there standing looking at everybody and impressed to see how everybody was connected to that moment. And for some moment, I feel like, wow, that is how many people can be together connected to source energy. So you start to feel, how could that be if I could do that, but for all the world? That for at least a moment, everybody was so connected and happy with source energy through my work. And I start to analyze, okay, why I'm not getting what I want? And I discover that I've been living not the life I want. I've been living the life that other people told me I should have. And it made me feel so angry because I realized I deserved to have that, but I could not create the bridge of how to do that and forget I should be nice with people around me or my family and just been living the life I want and been sharing the gift of my work to the people.
So we have a question for you. Do you recall the story we told earlier of Esther on the airplane and the flight attendant handing her a bottle of hot water to hold? From the story, could you tell that what we were wanting to convey is that Esther was not sitting there shivering in discomfort when someone rescued her with a bottle of water. She was sitting there in absolute satisfaction, and the bottle of water was offered to enhance what was already lovely. Can you feel that distinction? We want to say you can't get there from there. You can't get from a place of believing that you're not living the life that you want to live and get to the life that you want to live. But you can notice the aspects of the life that you're living that are satisfying, and then more and more that will be satisfying will be handed to you. Does that make sense to you? Because you can have it all. In the human perspective, it feels like I have to give up something for something, because you think in terms of time and effort and action. But when you introduce the factor of alignment, then you have a leverage and a capacity and a capability that far exceeds anything that you're doing through action. So you can have it all. The belief that I can be this, but I have to give up all this is a flawed premise. You just have to find the satisfying components of what you are living already. When you find satisfaction in the pieces of your life, or you find satisfaction because you're not focused upon the unsatisfying pieces of your life, you don't have to find satisfying pieces, you just have to stop beating the drum of what isn't satisfying. What happens is you'll accomplish a vibrational state of being where more like that must come to you because it is law. We want to emphasize the feeling of the leverage of alignment. And of course, you've been there so many times. You couldn't be living the way you're living and living what you're living if you weren't doing plenty of that. No creation is ever complete. And so you're continually modifying it. So if you have been sacrificing more than you want to, and you have accomplished all of this, now at any point, in fact, all day, every day, as life comes to you, you can find a new desire. And as you focus upon that new desire, in fact, even before you put words to it, you've put plenty of it into your vortex. So what do you think, from what you've been living, how you're feeling right now, and we are going to accept that what we said about your vortex is real, that your life has caused you to put new, clear desires into your vortex. Do you think that you could speak words to what you now prefer about your life? What could make a satisfied moment even more satisfied? Can you see what we're wanting to do with you? To get you to a place of satisfaction as you ask, rather than being in a place of dissatisfaction as you ask.
I want to be happy and I want to be free.
That's easy to understand. Whether you call it interested or happy or exhilarated or passionate or satisfied, we're barking up the same tree. And free. I want to be free. So talk to us about that freedom.
It's a freedom of, I guess, not feeling the resistance.
All right, so now it's natural that you would do that, but instead of telling us about freedom, you turned it to what you don't want. In other words, I want freedom because I don't want resistance. And of course, that's what we talk about all day, every day. You're leaning toward allowing or toward resisting. In other words, it's pretty simple. But what did you mean in relationship to the specifics of your life?
I want to have mental peace. I want to be with my family and I want to enjoy time with them.
I want to have mental peace. Now, just for a moment, tell us what's on the other side of that. What are you currently living that is the opposite of mental peace? And what are you currently living that is the opposite of time with your family? Just give us brief descriptions.
Like example, I feel like I have to kind of please people in order to make them happy and put me on the side, because otherwise I will not, because you was mentioning like we should care more about how we feel. But like since I was a kid, I've been taught to always be doing things for others.
Most everybody is that way. Even Esther grappled with it for a moment outside the nail salon. They didn't want to give her this moment. We know that that sounds like a simplistic example, but it is the same example. But what we're wanting to see if you can find the feeling of, can you accept that your feeling is a result of your focus, not a result of your condition? Do you believe that the condition of your life makes it not possible for you to find freedom? Or maybe you thinking that you cut those trees down when you didn't. Maybe you have some flawed premises. Maybe your assumption of what they need from you is flawed in some way.
I think I'm just assuming maybe they don't really want me to be like all the time there, like doing things.
Well, even if they do, your perception of it, in other words, this is a big question of the day. Can you see yourself as free under the current conditions?
Yes, I do.
Well, then we're done. Because most people are living very conditionally. The condition dictates how they feel. Most everybody has something that is required of them that they may not really want to do that much. A lot of people, they want money, but they don't necessarily want to go to work. Or they want work, they don't necessarily want that work. Or they want relationships with people at work, but just not necessarily those people at that work. Almost everybody is standing with some measure of unwanted around them that it is difficult not to observe it. But the key to the improvement of it is to find the pieces of it that are satisfying so that more satisfying pieces can blossom. Because when you find the pieces that are not satisfying, then you prevent the blossoming of the more satisfying and you encourage the blossoming of less satisfying until you can put yourself in a box where you believe that what is required of you, it's a self-imposed jail. It's not even required by the current people under the current situation. You just are still playing the same game that you played in the beginning. You see what we're getting at?
So there is another point with that. Like, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this, but I'm aware that law of attraction, it works because there is many times where, like, I think something and appear, but not all the time appear good things.
That's because you don't always think good things.
Like a quick example.
Well, now think about this. You really want to enforce with over 1,000 people and infinite intelligence the thing that you do not want to repeat or add more to.
How do I select what is the things I really want to manifest in my life?
So as you were about to tell that story, was it satisfying or not satisfying?
It was funny. I woke up in the day and I started to think about this singer who said she was taking cold showers to keep her body tight. And I was like, cold showers. That sounds good. That was 8 a.m. in the morning. I went to work. I went to a class. And when I came back to my apartment, I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired, sweating and smelling. Oh my God, what is this? I need to take a hot shower. I went to the shower and there was no hot shower. And I was so mad, and I was knocking to the neighbors. Hey, what's going on with the hot water? We have hot water. I was like, thanks, law of attraction. It's just I'm the only one with no hot water. So this is simple, but like for me, it's like okay.
It's not as simple as you are describing it here in this way, because your story had some contradictions in it. You heard about the advantage of cold shower. Did you or did you not want those advantages?
Why not? Yeah, I thought about to be like, I go to the
gym.
And
so you can't decide if you want the advantage of the cold shower or the pleasure of the hot shower. You're kind of a vibrational mess.
Yeah, but I want to go the hot shower, but be tight.
And we want to say to you exactly that you can have it all.
Oh, no.
You can have it all. But rather than thinking in terms of law of attraction responding to you instantaneously, like right now, look for some measure of focus that is satisfying. And the more often you focus in that way, then the more your proclivity to find those thoughts becomes. In other words, the more satisfaction you feel, the more the universe delivers you things to feel satisfaction about. Now, this might twist your brain a little bit, but stay with us, because if you can come with us through this scenario, then we'll know and you'll know that you've got this. So on the one hand, we say to you, you create your own reality. And then we take it further by saying, you get what you think about. And then we take it further by saying, think deliberate thoughts. And then we take it further by saying, get into the receiving mode and feel. And then we say, think and feel, think and feel. So you extrapolate from that, you conclude from that, you think that what we're saying to you is be deliberate, but don't be too deliberate because it makes you negative. But be allowing, but don't be too allowing because you're not focused enough. And so what we want you to hear is that the laws of the universe, the way they work, have already sorted that all out for you. Life is going to cause you to have the contrasting moments and cause you to ask for things. You don't have to go looking for that. In other words, you don't have to find the method or find the way deliberately to what you want. Better said, you cannot find the method or find the path to what you want from your place of identifying that you're not where you want to be. So if you can just accept that you have two jobs, one is to ask and one is to allow, and you don't do them at the same time. And when you're doing the step 1, that's when you're doing all the creating. And when you're doing the step 3, that's when you're letting all that you've created in. But don't get mixed up whether you're in the right now allowing or asking mode. It will really help you if you will be able to define, well, right now, I'm having the satisfaction of being mad as hell. Abraham, what do you mean? Satisfied at feeling negative emotion? Yes, because I understand that knowing what I don't want is important to my clarification of what I do want. I know that this is how I mold the clay. So I'm actually satisfied. Negative emotion, this, what I don't want, it could be anger, or I could call it and mean it satisfaction, because I know I'm clarifying a question and I'm asking a stronger desire and I'm putting more into my vortex, and therefore I am evolving. So yeah, I'm having a step 1 moment and I'm satisfied to be having this step 1 moment. Now you've stopped the resistance. Now you've had the step 1 moment. Now you're in a productive place. You can move right into the receiving mode, and now ideas about how to get all of the things that you're wanting will begin to occur to you. Because you believe a lot in what you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch, it has caused you to, all of you, most humans, it has caused you to become a reactor to conditions. Instead of being a reactor to conditions, we want you to be a seeker of your reaction.